All right, today we've got some really heavy-hitting sources. We're doing a deep dive into one of the most significant prophecies of the promised ruler.
We're in Isaiah chapter 9, verses 1 through 7.
Exactly. And our mission today is to really understand the hope that's described here, but maybe more importantly, what the source material pinpoints as the unstoppable engine that drives it all.
And that's God's own zeal. But what's so fascinating is where the prophecy starts. It has this very precise geographical focus.
Right. It's not just a general promise to Israel.
Not at all. It's aimed specifically at the land of Zebulun and Naphtali. I mean, the sources remind us this was the area that historically was the first to fall to invaders.
It was brought into contempt, as the text says.
Exactly. Total political, spiritual collapse. You could call it the epicenter of darkness. So the promise is for this complete reversal.
The people walking in that deep darkness will see a great light. And that shift from darkness to light, it seems to immediately translate into, well, radical joy.
Yeah, the sources get really specific about the kind of joy.
They compare it to the joy of dividing the spoil after a huge victory, or the joy of a massive harvest. I mean, this is not a mild feeling of relief.
No, it's overwhelming satisfaction. And that satisfaction comes from liberation and peace. The promise is that God himself will break the whole infrastructure of oppression.
The yoke of his burden and the staff for his shoulder.
And it's compared to a very specific moment in history as on the day of Midian.
Okay, so why Midian? Why that particular reference?
Well, that wasn't just any battle, you know. The day of Midian, that's Gideon's victory.
Right, where God delivered Israel with a tiny, completely insufficient army.
Exactly, so it guarantees that this future deliverance will be overwhelming, complete, and driven by God, not by human strength.
And this is where the vision of peace gets, I think, truly radical. It's not just a truce.
Yeah, not at all.
The source says, the boot of the tramping warrior and every blood-soaked garment will be burned as fuel for the fire.
It's the end of war itself. War is literally destroyed.
Which, I suppose, has to happen first. It sets the stage for the one who brings that peace.
It does. It brings us to the centerpiece of the whole thing, the identity of this ruler.
For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and then it says the government will rest on his shoulder. That sounds like, well, kingly power.
It is. It's both political and something much more, and that's what the names tell you. He's given 4 compound names that define who he is.
Okay.
First, he is the wonderful counselor. That points to, unparalleled strategic wisdom. But then, right after that,
he's called Mighty God.
Yeah. And that title, for a child, that's the radical claim. The source is saying divine power is going to reside in a human ruler.
That changes everything. What are the other 2?
He's called Everlasting Father, which suggests eternal protection and care. And then finally, Prince of Peace.
The one who actually brings about that permanent end to conflict we were just talking about.
Exactly. An eternal reign upheld with justice and with righteousness on David's throne.
So when you look at the sheer scope of this eternal, divine, world-changing, it begs the question, who could possibly guarantee a promise that big?
Now that leads us right to the final sentence, which our sources all highlight. It's the ultimate guarantee.
The zeal of the Lord of hosts will do this. Wait, let's talk about that word, zeal. Because in some contexts, isn't zeal associated with, like, jealousy or even divine anger? So why is zeal the key here for a promise of peace?
That's a critical point. In this context, the commentary is clear that zeal isn't anger. It's God's passionate, uncompromising commitment.
So it's like an unstoppable love.
It is. It's the intensity of purpose that ensures his rescue plan for humanity gets done, regardless of our own failures.
The source material we looked at had that great analogy about the Korean tea set.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
Yeah.
The person receives this beautiful gift, but it only becomes priceless after they read the artisan's letter.
Right, the letter that detailed all the passion, the personal cost, the sheer zeal that went into making it.
Exactly. The value wasn't just in the object, it was in the giver's dedication. And in the same way, remembering God's zeal, his passionate, relentless commitment behind giving the Son, that's what transforms this promise from just a nice story into a guaranteed reality for you today.
So this deep dive really shows that the whole promise of Christmas, all the hope for light and peace, it isn't founded on human goodness.
Not at all. It's founded on God's relentless, zealous love and a passion that cannot be stopped.
So the final thought for you to take away is simple, but it's profound.
Consider what it truly means for your daily life. that this ruler, who established peace through his own zeal, is called your wonderful counselor and your Prince of Peace.
And then maybe think about how that radical guaranteed hope can be shared with someone in your circle this week.